catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
Well, good evening. Welcome to Storytime. We're back for another episode, and we are so excited because we have this young man here that has the nickname. You see his picture right here. He's got the nickname of the street Genie. Yeah, you've seen him with the saxophone all around the streets of North Carolina and abroad. And you may call him Freddy Greene, and some others may call him Street Genie. And he is certainly a person who had made a name for himself blowing that horn. He's probably one of the longest running street musicians we have in this area. So I want to invite you, if you want to really follow and see everything that's going on, to come on over to YouTube. Come on over to YouTube and follow along and learn about this young man. He comes from Franklinton, and he's been born into a life of music. So we're going to get the story behind that and find out about how he got started with that saxophone, And we're just excited to share tonight. We're always excited to share. And we're going to tell you a little bit about Storytime first. So we want to let you know that we're happy you're here. Storytime is where we connect with individuals. Everybody is a celebrity in their own right. Everybody's story matters. We respect everybody's story. And we just have a conversation about who you are, where you're from, and everything that you've been through. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we get into how your upbringing has helped you to be the person you are today. And you share the things that you want people to know about you. Because a lot of times people, they know us for our brand. They know us for our business, our product. But they don't know us. They don't know what we've been through. They don't know why we do what we do. And that's what we like to get into here at Storytime, to help people to really get into that. So please, please, please come on over to YouTube and check this out. Storytime Podcast with South Crystal. Storytime Podcast with South Crystal. We're going to be here having this conversation. But until we get into it, we want to let you know how to go about doing it and where you can find us. So check this out. We are all over the place, right? You might find us or see us on Apple, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, Facebook Live, so many places. And you never know where you might see us, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, a lot of places where you could be seen and heard through Storytime. So if you want to know how to make that happen, take a listen. All right, everybody, are you ready? This is Crystal. I am so excited to have you here on Storytime. I want you to know that now you can be seen and heard. Yes, Storytime has expanded, and you will be able to see yourself streaming live on multiple platforms. So come on over and get with us and check it out. I want you to go ahead and schedule your interview, and you never know where they might find you online. So thanks for watching. See you somewhere on the internet. Yes. So it's just that simple. And like I said, this man is dynamite. He has built up a name for himself on the streets. He certainly has. You know his sound when you hear it. I'm telling you, I think I see him in the studio. Are you there, Freddie?
I am here.
All right, we're going to get into this, man. We're going to get into this. But before we get into this, I want to let them hear a sneak peek of your song. I think you got a song on here, Augmented Soul. Tell us about what that is.
Oh, this basically about being aware, being more conscious about everything around you. Past.
Being rare and conscious. Okay. Mm-hmm. When did you write this song?
I think probably about 2 years ago.
Okay. Well, let's take a listen to it. Then we'll let you talk about it. How about that? Wow, augmented soul, man, oh man, oh man. You heard it from the one and only Freddy Greene. Good evening, welcome to Story Time. How you doing there today?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having
Listen,
me on your
you
show.
know, I wanted to start out with that because I wanted people who've never heard you to really get an understanding. Like I said, this is the man, they call him the street genie, for his ability to make melodies of his beloved saxophone, dancing band. And some people say you're the longest running street musician here. You know, you've been playing all the songs. You played with Shirley Caesar, Percy Sledge, and everybody we could think of. You know, even been on the
Yeah.
Apollo Theater stage twice. Really? Oh my
Oh,
God. You
yeah.
play those streets and you do your thing. So this is
hmm
beautiful. So we want to
hmm
find out where all this came from, Freddie, and what made you even start playing the saxophone. So first and foremost, thank you so much for coming here to share your story here with the fellow St. Aug Falcon, because we both went to,
Yeah, buddy.
so that's a beautiful thing. How you been, man?
I've been fairly well. Just been just keep working on recording and trying to write a song that cannot be denied.
Mm.
You know.
Okay, that's a good thing. Trying to write a song that can't be denied. So, talk to me
Mhm.
about who is Freddie Greene? Where were you? Where did it all begin for you? I know it began in Franklinton, but tell us a little bit about your upbringing and how you even got into loving the saxophone. I mean, was this something that you started in elementary school? How did all this happen? Where did it start? Talk to us.
Well, I actually didn't start playing the saxophone, learning the saxophone until I was 17 years old. Before I even seen a saxophone, cause but the school I went to school at that time, they did not have horns, so I never even seen a saxophone until I was 17 years old. But the thing is, um,
When
I
did
was
you get
born in.
fascinated with it? When did you first
Mm,
get fascinated by the saxophone? At what age?
Okay, at the age of about 17, that's when I got fascinated when I first saw the saxophone in Durham. No, a band from Durham, North Carolina called Diracha was a very hot band. I don't know if they're still together now, but I was at the club because at the time I was learning to play bass guitar, in the band playing bass guitar. I was 17 years old. And this band came there, and this guy played a saxophone. The name of the song was Brick. No, the name of the group was Brick, and I can't think of the song, but it had a real nice solo saxophone line. He blowed that line, and just that was it for me. But
Okay.
yeah, I was 17 before I even seen a saxophone. But when I
So
saw it
you
and I heard
at
it,
a
that was it.
show and you heard it, or what was it that made you gravitate to it? Was it the way the person played it? Was it the
Well, I,
saxophone itself?
I love that song that Brick had written. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Disco Jazz, Disco Daz, something like that. And it
Uh-huh.
has a real nice saxophone solo in it. And
Hmm.
it's blowed that sax solo, man. I tell you, I was hooked. So it wasn't very long from then that before I graduated from high school, my principal, probably that same year, must have went someplace like a surplus somewhere and brought some horns to the school.
Hmm.
Uh, Prior to that, I played the drums in the school band, marching band. But they brought horns. The year I was finna graduate, he brought horns, and I bought a alto saxophone. I think I like $50. I scraped up and got that money and bought an alto saxophone. And from there, I went straight off to St. Augustine's College to study music. But I didn't know A from a bullfrog. We was not studying music in my high school. Like I said, I ain't even seen a horn, so I really had to play catch up, and I had to play catch up real hard. Cause
Okay, okay.
mhm.
So let me ask you this. You heard the music, you heard the solo, and that's pretty much why you chose the saxophone over any other instrument?
And that was it. I pretty much can't say nothing other than that. There was no horns in my hometown. There was guitar players, and I was among them bass guitar players, but no horns in bands. And this horn player came to town and played that solo on Dance, and I don't know, I was just captivated by the horn.
Let me
But
tell you
but
something.
mhm.
The horns
Go
are
ahead.
the saxophones are special to me. My dad played the saxophone. I think we were talking about that a minute ago. But another thing, I just went to the show 2 weeks ago in Greensboro with Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Now you know Earth, Wind, and Fire had the full setup for some horns. I was
Sphinx.
I was in awe. I was in awe because you don't get to hear that anymore. They don't play like that anymore. You just don't get that. And I can appreciate what you're saying about the horns just from being at that show recently. If you've ever been
Hmm.
somewhere and really, really gotten the opportunity to really hear the blends of the different horns together and the saxophone and the solos, it is amazing. It's so
Hmm.
much different than just
Hmm.
hearing singing,
Yes, I
you know.
agree.
Now, who was your idol when you were coming up? Who was the saxophone player that you listened to, that you tried to learn from, and you said, "Man, I want to be like them"? Or if you didn't want to be like them, you at least learn techniques from them.
Well, okay, so I need to say that uh, I heard in the early '60s. Then I was born in well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But I think probably the first horn player I probably heard was probably Junior Walker, and because uh, I was in my uncle's what we call piccolo joint, roadhouse kind of place, which I was actually born in one of them, but that's another story. But I heard that sound, so I would think that's probably what got me motivated. Later on, I got into trying to get the sound of Grover Washington, but 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 more so, I really got into trying to uh, Well, I guess I said trying to, but I really tried to find out who I was. But John Coltrane is my overall um, saxophonist.
Wow. And
And
so that was the overall. Did you ever go see him in person?
well, no, I didn't, and I think he died in '67, I believe. So I was 67. I was probably like 9 years old, 10 years old, 9. No, I never seen John Crump, but I tell you what though, me and a few fellas got them in Thomas I. Thomas I. McDonald is from. It's not Hamlet. I can't think of the town, but Hamlet is where Coltrane was born. And Thomas I was down there. Is born. He from that way. He took me and a group of other musicians to play in Hamlet, which is the town
Okay.
that John Coltrane was born in. And matter of fact, Reggie Jessup played piano. You spoke of
Wow.
Reggie. He played piano the time we went down. It was years ago. And this lady came up to me and she asked me. She said, "Do you know? About John Coltrane? Do you know cousin Mary?" I said, "No, I haven't. I played it before, but I'm not very familiar with it right now." She said, "Well, I'm cousin Mary."
Wow.
we,
Wow.
we was out in Hampton when Coltrane born. I met cousin Mary.
Wow. So wow.
Yeah, how about
That
that?
had to be a special moment for you.
I can
So
see it. I see it now.
wow. So
Mm.
how would you explain or describe your musical style with your saxophone? Because a lot of times in the industry you have different genres, but are there different styles for saxophone players?
Well, I guess it would be different styles or different sounds. Um, I don't quite know how to explain my sound because for a long time I kind of stayed away from jam sessions. I used to go to them many years ago in the '80s when I lived in DC, but I stayed away from 'em a little bit because I didn't think I really didn't think I could play jazz. Because I didn't sound like them. A lot of cats was playing. I said, well, I'm gonna stay away from these places because I can't play like them. I don't sound like them. But I've learned and learning that uh, I sound like me.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you
And
go.
I'm actually learning to appreciate my own sound. And I had a great teacher, William Moon, which was one of the teachers at Central that I had left St. Albans went to Central. He helped me
Proud
to,
Falcon. So you got a little bit of eagle pride and falcon pride.
you better know it.
So that it's something about them HBCUs, isn't it?
Oh, good gracious. Every, every African American black person should go off to college. They spend some time at HB. Go spend some time there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They
Because
need to get that experience, right? They need to get
you're,
that experience. It's,
I'm
it's
telling you,
something. It's
yeah,
something different. So,
yeah. Hmm.
so let me ask you this: was you a music lover when you were a little boy? Though, did you sit around and listen to music before you got fascinated with the saxophone at 17? Was you a music lover, or was you just a quiet little boy?
Well, my mama's sisters would tell me I was a bad little boy, but I don't believe that. Not now a bit. But like I say, in the early '60s, me and my cousin Michael Kearney and a friend of ours, Edward Allen, we would go in my uncle's juke joint, piccolo joint, where you put a chord in thing and plays music. And we would get out on the dance floor. We would get out there and dance, and people threw coins and gave us money and stuff like that. So yeah, so I heard music at a very early age. I heard music being played. It was my uncle's piccolo joint. I can go in there. You know what I'm saying? And but I think the whole thing, and I come late kind of realize some things even about myself. My mama used to tell me a story about when I, like I say, some folks had said I was a bad little boy. I don't believe it. But when you come up with four sisters and you're the only boy, you may have to get bad to survive that.
Okay. Or to protect them, huh? Or to protect them.
The whole thing. Um, so she would tell me a story about the boy didn't do what mama told him to do. And I'd rather she whooped me 1,000 times with a switch or whatever than tell me that story again, because the story was really went all the way through me. But the thing about the story, the little boy was saved from a bad situation he got himself in because he disobeyed his mom by a man who played a horn on the street corner.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I had been playing on the street corner for many years, that had not hit my psyche
Mm-hmm.
that it might have been a connection with that, you know. And so back to being a music lover, I think my mama installed something in my head.
Really? So
Yeah.
when she
Mm-hmm.
talked to you about this man being on the street playing, talk to me about how you started doing that. What was the event or the reason that you started doing it? Do you remember how it all started?
Oh, most definitely. I was going to St. Augustine, St. Paul's, in about 78. I started in 77, but in 78, uh, my girlfriend at that time was going to school at Carolina, Chapel Hill. And I struggled to get money to go up there and visit her. And one time I went up there to visit her and I saw people playing guitars and stuff on the streets of Franklinton Street. And I never seen that before. But I automatically knew that meant bus fare, you know. And I just started, like I said, in 77, I just got a horn put. 77, I just seen and got a saxophone. Seen one, got one. Going off to school, trying to learn how to study music, ain't from a bullfrog. But when I saw people playing on street corners in Chapel Hill, I knew that was bus fare. And not only was that bus fare, that was a great place for me to learn because I've learned that people not only like what you, people not only would tip me from what they heard, which I was struggling because I knew nothing. I was struggling trying to put scales together. But I learned that they also like what they saw, and which was someone learning how to play music. And that motivated me to get better and better at it. You know, if I didn't know the song, the person say, you know, so and so, if I didn't know it, you know, I go home and learn it. Come back, so I play it and I get that tip. But that's what got me motivated to be a street musician was going to Chapel Hill to visit my girlfriend, which is became my daughter's mother. In a way, that got me motivated to playing the saxophone was to get that bus fare so I could visit her. And
Wow. And then you became the street genie by doing it. How did you get that name?
well, actually, I laid that name on myself.
Okay.
I laid it on myself back when I did my first album, my first CD. I called it Street Genie because I had been playing the streets at that time, probably about 10, 15 years. And so I found out something that uh, people treat you a little different when you're out there on the street corner playing than they do when you're in the club. It's like on the street, you're on the same turf as everybody. I'm on your turf and you on my turf, so I can say what come out my mouth. And I had people say stuff like, that's wonderful what you're playing. You made my day. I was thinking about this and I heard your sound. So then somebody else might come up and say, what this shit? I shouldn't cuss on the thing. They
Oh,
say,
that's
what
okay.
what's that you playing? Go get a
I
real job.
understand because you meet people from different walks of life, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. And so somebody might be happy, somebody might
Uh,
be sad. Like you said, you make somebody's day, and somebody else might be get out the way. They don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? So that makes
all that,
sense.
yeah, all
That
that.
makes sense. Now, do you feel as though street musicians are respected?
I think so. I mean, I think so. I mean, you're always gonna have a butthole, gonna say something ugly to anybody. especially to somebody they might think is beneath them. Playing on the street, I must be a bum. I know one guy said that. I thought you was a bum, man. You didn't play that
Right,
for us. I said,
right.
why you think I'm a bum? I mean, do I smell? I mean, what? I'm what? What?
Wow.
And
So
then he had,
they had a
huh?
whole misconception.
Yeah. And then he had nerve to invite me to his church. I see, you got folks at your church think like that. I don't want to go to your church.
Right, right, right. Well, you know what? I can see how that can happen if they don't pay close attention, especially when you had so many people started to living on the streets and being on the street and panhandling. I can see how they could get it mixed up. But then there are some people who just do it because they love it. Now, have you ever been in the subway to New York City?
Uh, I visited New York City and seen that, but I never played there. But while I was there, I did play outside. But can I share a quick little story about this, about the people on the streets that I met?
Yes, please do. Please do.
So I'll tell you about different experiences, but one very wonderful experience I had um, playing on the streets in Chapel Hill. This fella come up to me. He had passed by me many times and give me a tip and keep going. One day he asked me if I knew Amazing Grace, and I said, yeah, I can play Amazing Grace. He said, well, play it for me, and I played Amazing Grace, and he said, oh, that's wonderful. Gave me the tip and said, look, won't you come to my church sometime, man? I'd love to have you come to my church. And I just happened to be in Raleigh. This church was in Raleigh. I just happened to be in Raleigh from playing until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, playing on the corner in Raleigh, probably Fairview Street and Martin or something. And I stayed in my car all night. And I said, it was Sunday morning. It was Sunday morning when I woke up for Saturday night. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go to church. I'm going to go to this church this guy invited me to, so I'm up here in Raleigh. To just make it short, it ended up, the fellow who invited me to church, which I came, was Mike Mathis. Mike Mathis had written and played with Shirley Caesar for many years. Has written many of her hits. He wrote. I had no idea who he was until I stepped in church. And Shirley Caesar was the pastor, was preaching, and Mike Mathis was playing the piano.
Wow.
And I got to know Mike. We became good friends, and actually played and done some traveling with Shirley Caesar from that point.
Wow. So see,
Mhm.
we never know who we're gonna meet out there. So you
Mhm.
have to be kind to people because you just never know who they are. So that's a
Oh
beautiful
yeah.
story.
Mhm.
Now, I do know that as I read your bio, not only did you go play on the street in New York, but you also played on the Apollo Theater stage. How was that experience?
Oh,
Right,
now
right.
that was something else. It was really. I remember we were downstairs. First of all, this is how I ended up getting to go to Apollo. I'm playing. I'm living in D.C. I'm playing the streets. I'm playing in the Georgetown area, and this guy drops 2 airline tickets in my horn case. You know, and
Wow.
he walks away, and I look at that. It says 2 airline tickets to New York. I said, "Oh my God, airline ticket to New York. I'm going to the Apollo. That's what I'm going to do." So I took those airline tickets and I went to the Apollo. Then the experience I had there was very, very
So you didn't
interesting.
know he was gonna give you the tickets?
No, instead of giving me $1 or two or whatever, he dropped 2 airline tickets in my horn case to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I used those tickets and I told myself, I said, great, I'm going to the Apollo. So
Wow.
I made the arrangement, you had to do application. But while I was downstairs, the guys be downstairs, and I guess the girls had a dressing room, we had a guest room. And this one guy was down there talking about all the people that he played with. And some of us guys was like, oh man, he must be fantastic. And so his turn came to go up and do his thing. I think it was up for about 30 seconds, and we heard, other word, the Sandman came and pulled him off
Right.
stage.
That's right. That's right. That's Sandman. That's Sandman. So let me ask you something. Let's go back to him putting the 2 tickets in the bucket. So was that like his tip, or how did you know he was putting the tickets? Why did he do that?
No, actually, I think I realized that when the night was over that I had 2 tickets in there. Because I probably just thought he'd give me a dollar because it was paper. I think
Wow.
I actually realized that I had tickets to New York when the night was over, and I was, adding up, put my stuff away and everything.
Do you know
You
who
know,
gave you the tickets?
I have no idea.
Really? So
No, I have
you
no
think it
idea.
was just somebody who was saying, "Man, you good? I need you to go." They were pretty much telling you to go. That's you think that was the reason why they did it because they wanted you to go to the Apollo?
Well, I think there's a reason for everything, so it
Yeah.
just might have been.
Wow, that's a blessing.
It certainly was,
Real blessing.
and I never flew in an airplane before. I said I'm gonna fly in an airplane one day, and that was my opportunity.
Man, so that's really exciting for you to get that and then go. So you immediately made your decision. You saw the tickets and you
Mm.
immediately said, "Listen, I know what I'm doing with this. I'm going to the Apollo." And so, talk to me about how that happened. There may be somebody watching this who's a dreamer who wants to do something. They want to step out on faith. They want to try something. They want to hit the big stage. Tell us how you did that. How did you go about getting to the Apollo and getting on stage? What was that process like for you?
Well, first thing I called up the airline, made sure those tickets was good, was it real or not? And they told me it was real, so what I done was got the information on the Apollo, maybe 411 or whatever to get information. So I called up the Apollo, and they sent me an application. And this was like in the 80s now, mid 80s. I don't know how they do it now, or even they still have the show. But it's just simply sent me an application, and you fill out the application saying what you're gonna do, and I sent in a CD that I was gonna play of a song that I had written that I was gonna play. So they were, and when I got there, I gave them the song. It was that simple. Just fill out the application. What's your name? What's your instrument? Where you from? And things like that. It was very simple. It's just a matter of doing it.
Wow. Now, I know on your website, I saw some great pictures of you, and you've been doing this a long, long time. And I saw the pictures of you with the afro, and I'm actually sharing that picture with you with the afro. The picture that you have on your website with you with the afro, what was that? Was that an event? Was that like the first photo you did when you were playing saxophone?
With the Afro,
Yes.
that picture was taken by a horn doctor. When I say a horn doctor, people that fix horns, named John Page. I was doing my first CD. The first
Mm.
CD, the first CD was called "Heavy on My Mind," and that was among the pictures that he took. I didn't use that picture. I used something else. I had my hand on my head like this, just saying "Heavy on My Mind." Um,
And when we
but
look at you, we can see that you were out there. Then the other one I see where you had the black hat on and the shades on, and you had the horn there, So and the beads around your neck. You were serious about that saxophone. You looked like you had an attitude when you went up there. You was like, yeah, I'm here. You know, you're definitely here. But and then I look at you now, and I can see that you are seasoned, that you've been doing it a while. I see with your hat and the saxophone with your foot up on the wall, like with confidence, like yeah, I'm here, and I've been doing this for almost 50 years.
yeah, I started in '76 or '77. '76, 77 I went to school, but '76 is when I started. So yeah, it's made 50 years. Hmm. But
Wow, that's
it's still learning. I mean, good gracious, good Lord, I definitely don't know. I know more than I knew, but don't know as much as I want to.
right, right, right. So, what are some of the challenges you've had in your career? Because now you play by yourself, but you played in bands too.
Yes, most definitely played in bands. Yes, played in bands coming up, many bands. Um,
And
I,
sometimes musicians have problems staying and finding a good band. Talk to me about how you found the right band when you did play with a band, and are you playing with a band now?
well, now I call up guys because I do a Freddy Greene thing now, Freddy Greene Street Genie thing. Every once in a while I may sit in with a band, but not often. I'm pretty much made my mind up that I'm gonna go on this route here with with me, with the time that I have left, do my thing. Um, right band, I don't know, because musicians all got these different personalities and different energies. The thing musicians have to do when they come together is to keep the music in front of all their egos.
Mm,
The-
that's a good one.
the- you got to realize that the music is older than you are. The music has a purpose. You're just a vessel that the music is traveling through. So you try to have a heart, try to be a kind of person that the music can come through without interruptions. You can come right on through. That means you don't have to try so hard to play, because if you're trying too hard to play, you might be repenting for some sins you've done or something. This music needs to just flow through you, you know.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
if so, you got to step back and let the music, you know, do its thing.
I love that. Let the music do its thing, and let the music be bigger than your ego.
Big, well,
That's
got to be big in there.
that's real good, because so many people think it's all about them, and just
Mm,
let it be about the music. And so I like that. And then be willing to come together and work together, and take the I. There's no I in team.
no,
So when
no,
you
it's not.
do decide that you're going to play with a group, you have to be willing to work together. Am I correct?
You most definitely do. It's all about listening to each other.
Yeah, so I think that's
Mm.
it. Is that one of the reasons why you just decided, you know what, I'm gonna do this by myself? Is it because of the conflicts, or is it more like because you're comfortable and you feel like you're in a zone all alone?
Um, it may be a little bit of all of that, but I think what happened, as far as I'm concerned, now that by playing outside like that, I start getting some notoriety, some newspaper clippings here and that, there and the other, and people start calling me to come play. Sometimes they just want me to play by myself, and sometimes they want to know if I can I get a band together. So I started getting guys together because people started recognizing me being out there, and got these calls. So I had to pull guys together, and sometimes a lady be with the band too, and so. But I think probably a little bit of all that, because you can't get to a point where you say, well, you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing. I don't have enough of this here. So I
And
think
you got
all.
to be strong enough too. You have to be strong enough,
Oh,
because
you do, you
by
do,
yourself,
you do.
you have to have a presence that people want to come see you.
Hmm. Well, if you're gonna step out and be an individual among many, you got to pretty much in a major manner that you got your own thing, your own sound, your own feeling that you need about to bust out of you somehow. You got to do it this way, So you got to not be afraid of that, and defend it
Yes,
with
yes,
it, with everything that's inside you. Defend it, because people always want to get a little piece of you,
yeah.
and when they take that piece, it don't always come back so quick. So,
So, Freddie, when did you have that experience on the street, where that first time when you realized, like, wow, this is pretty cool? Where you wound up like drawing a crowd around you? You know how sometimes, like I know in New York on Times Square, you can go past sometime, and you have the dancers and you have different people or singers, and a crowd starts forming. Have you had that experience where you just drew a crowd?
I have, to be honest, I have, but I've never been very fond of that.
Okay.
I
And why
have.
is that? Why don't you like the crowd? Does it make you feel some kind of way?
Well, I just like them better when they tip me and keep walking.
Okay. Okay.
Then they gather around me. Uh, I had a
Okay, so
crowd, but
everybody has their preference. So you're not trying to be the center of attraction, but you just want to
oh, never.
provide a feel. Are you trying to, what are you trying to give the people that walk past you? Are you trying to give them a feeling? Are you trying to put them in a mood? What is your goal?
My goal is to blend into what's going on all
Mm,
around, not to stand out and say, "Hey, hear me. I'm over here. Come here." That's not my purpose out there. That's not how I approach it. My What I want you to do is find a sound or produce a sound that blends in to what's everything around me. The cars, the buses, the people that's talking. I'm just another sound. I'm in the background.
Wow.
I'm in the background of my experience and their experience as they go about their day. You know. Now, hey,
That's
come over here, but just I'm in the background of that piece of life. You understand what I'm
wow.
saying?
Wow. And that's really good. Like you walking, I have walked past you. I have walked past you, and I know what you mean. Like you just make a person stop. Like they might be in their thoughts. They might
Mm-hmm.
be on their way to work and rushing. But sometimes you could play that music that'll make a person just stop for a moment and just give them that moment of peace. Just
Mm.
give that moment where they just connect for a moment. And sometimes it could be because they recognize the song, or sometimes it's because of the melody. And I guess that's why they talk about you and your melody and that sound. It's because of the melody that it draws you in, and it just gives you that moment just to be there. You just take it in. You just take it. You stop for a moment
Mm-hmm.
and take it in. And I think that's what you do, Freddie. I think street
Mm.
musicians like you give people a moment to stop and take it in. And, instead of always being in a
Mm.
hustle, bustle and going and going and going and trying to go from point A
Mm.
to point B, you make them stop. You make them
Mm.
stop and just inhale and exhale and just receive and just take in the birds chirping and the music in the cars and your,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and so
The
that's a
birds
beautiful
chirping.
thing. That's a beautiful thing that you do, you
I
know.
had the bird had birds run me out of the graveyard one time.
Mm,
I,
wow.
I was in the doing my learning. I was in the walking through the graveyard and just reading the tombstones and playing what you call long tones, like kind of put you in an honest state of mind. But I'm reading tombstones and wondering who these souls were, who were these people, and actually trying to connect to. I guess it sounds kind of crazy, but actually just trying to connect to that
Atmosphere.
name, that
Wow.
name, and who that person was. And
Wow.
birds was in a tree, and they was making some sounds, and I tried to mimic their sounds they were doing. And them jokes wrapped around my head and ran me out of the graveyard. I guess I had no business doing that one.
Mimicking the sounds of the birds.
Oh
There was a
yeah.
video that I was watching that you played on YouTube on your channel. And guys, you have to go to this channel. Yeah, the channel on YouTube is Freddie Greene. It's his name. Freddie Greene Street Genie. FreddyGreene. The Street Genie. You gotta go check it out. I love jazz because my dad came up with it. He played jazz. He was a jazz person himself. He played the saxophone. He played the I think
Mm,
he played the clarinet too. And
my partner.
and he loved like Count Basie and all of those. If I'd have known you then,
Mm,
like when my
mm,
dad first passed away, I had all this music, and I was finding music lovers to give stuff to, and I had
mm,
like a lot of his cassettes and a lot of his songs and a lot of his stuff, and
mm.
yeah, I did. But let me ask you something: if your saxophone could talk, the saxophone that you play, that you've been playing for these 50 years, if your saxophone could talk, what would it say?
Don't be afraid.
Mm, it would say, "Don't be afraid." So when you're playing, is that the message you're conveying to the people? It's like whatever life is dealt you, don't be afraid.
Right. My mama used to tell me, she said, don't you hold back when you play. She says, don't you hold back. So I try not to do that. I try not to take no notes back home with me.
Mm,
And I
wow,
wish
that's
and
interesting.
I wish I had left out there.
Wow. So you put your heart and soul in it.
For as
That's
I
all.
know, for as I know, it's only one way around. Might come back again, but I don't know nothing about that. So, well, I know it's one time around.
Wow. So you started early at 17. Sometimes people pick up and they decide later on in life that they want to pursue their dream. If you knew someone right now, or if someone was watching this and they wanted to start today to pursue their dream as a musician, what would you tell them?
What you just said, start today. Start today. Don't wait. People be 50 years old. They say, I always wanted to play. So I said, well, what you waiting to be 100 or what? Go ahead on and do that. And don't compare yourself to no one else. Learn at your own pace. And I would tell them to listen to sounds that surround them, like birds and the wind blowing through trees and cars and people conversations. Listen to that kind of stuff as well as music. But I would say go ahead if you want to play an instrument, just go and pick it up. First thing you got to do is get one. And I'm gonna tell you something that someone told me: sleep with your instrument. And that's a little taboo kind of secret thing I made here, but he told me about it. So I got to a point I would take my horn and put it in bed with me.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, he said sleep with your instrument. Now I don't know. He was a piano player, so I don't know how he managed to sleep in the bed with the piano. But he might have stepped on top of a
They,
small keyboard. But I think the bottom line is says sleep with your instrument. Otherwise, take your instrument, either in
yeah.
your head,
Yes. Yes.
or something.
Yeah.
Live, drink, eat. You know, your music, your dream.
Yeah. So, who is there somebody that you would like to play with that you haven't played with yet, Freddie?
Probably quite a few of them. Um, I can't, really come up with a name of individuals I would like to play with.
Any groups or any places that you'd like to go play, like any particular stages or events that you'd like to be on and be a part of?
Well, I never been to Paris. I understand that the music they really love, especially black artists. I think I'd like to experience that, the overseas thing. Um, since I missed my shot of playing with Miles Davis, so
When you say you
uh,
missed it, did you have an opportunity but you didn't take advantage of it, or you just never pursued it?
I think I missed something when I
Mm,
when I lived in D.C. When I first got to D.C., I arrived out, as an adult because I visited when I was younger, but as an adult, I arrived in D.C. on the back of a truck with I think an extra shirt and some paintings that I had painted in my horn. And so I was living out. In other words, I was living in shelters and places like that. And I walked up on a neon sign that said Miles Davis in concert. And it was in the early 80s to 84 or something like that. Now, I said to myself, I said, that's a horn player, I believe. I think that's a horn player, just Miles Davis. I heard of him before. I'm going to go here and play. I ain't got no money. But I don't need no money. I'm a musician. I need money
right.
to go see. I'm going to hang out with the band. I got this beret on, this black shirt. I got sunglasses, a long coat. It's winter time, and I got a horn. That's all I need to go see a band. So I went to the back way of the. I can't think of the name of the place. It wasn't Constitution Hall. It's another place in D.C. Might have been Constitution Hall. And the lady was at the front. She was checking people coming in, I suppose. And I went around the back way because I figured that's where musicians would come in at. And I had my long coat, sunglasses, beret, and a horn in my hand. So when I got to her, I just nodded my head. And she nodded her head back to me. And I just kept on going. Went on backstage, and Miles was on stage playing. And I was checking. Let me say this here: just by watching Miles Davis play, convinced me. Now, believe, like I say, I really know who he was. I thought he was a horn player, you know. But just by watching him play from backstage, right there behind him, I could see the whole thing. Convinced me that however I chose to approach to learn music, it was all right. Just do it. So
Wow.
anyway, I watched Miles on stage, and he was playing for a while. So I just kind of walked around a little bit and walked up on the Dirty Dozen band. I don't know if you heard of the Dirty Dozen band from somewhere down in St. Louis or something.
Mm-hmm.
They had just got off stage, so I was backstage talking with them, you know. And I came back, and I leaned against the wall. And I looked up. Miles was about 20 feet in front of me, smoking a cigarette, you know. I said, "Oh wow, there you go. That's the cat right there. Let me go speak to him," you know. So I reached to grab my horn, which was laying on my leg, and when I grabbed my horn, I noticed standing right beside, I mean, like directly beside me, was Sister Tyson,
Wow. Nice.
which was his wife during the '80s, point in the '80s. And I said, "My God, this is Sister Tyson right here beside me. Let me
Wow.
speak to her. Let me speak to her first." So I reached to speak to her, turned around to speak to her. Her body got stripped away, and I turned around, and Miles was gone.
Oh, wow.
So I think I
That's
might
why
have
you say
missed.
you missed it. That's why you say
I,
you
I
missed it.
I might have missed it there, but maybe not.
But you know what? You were there. You got to have that experience. You got to get that feeling.
I'm trying to tell you, just watching him play,
You got
let him know if I want to wear sunglasses when I play, if I want to wear a hat when I play, however I want to do, as long as I do it. Just watching him kind of told me it was okay.
yes, yes, yes. You know,
Mhm.
and I love what you said. You went through the door with a posture
Oh yeah,
like you belong.
like I belong.
You just went through there. You nodded your head and you kept on going. Like I'm here. And see, that, when you know that you belong, you, you others feel that. They feel that energy and they look at you and they that's why she waved back at you. And
Hey,
that
look,
is
it's just like
so true.
it might be just like walking through a neighborhood that you don't know. Just walk like you belong there. You'd be all right, maybe, hopefully.
That is so true. What do you remember ever having a bad experience, or do you remember ever playing once and you felt like, oh Lord, I got to go back to the drawing board. That wasn't it, you know.
Oh well, that can be just about any time.
I
Cause
mean,
I'm saying,
well, like sometimes like people ask a comedian have they ever bombed. So as a
oh,
musician, it's not really like bombing, but have you? I mean, even sometimes people might get booed or they might feel like, ooh,
mm,
let me go, let me get out of here. They not feeling me. Have you ever had that kind of experience?
yes, I've had that experience. Sometimes you can't quite get it together. You can't try, connect with the people, and you go home with your head down, but you just pick it back up and go for the next day,
But
cause you're not gonna make.
that's a
Uh,
part of the process, right? That's a part of the
yes,
process.
that's a learning. You go home and you work to get better at whatever you're doing. But that pain is what makes you grow. You know, it's that stumping your toe. You
Yeah,
know, that pain. You got to have some pain in it.
gotta have some
You know, you
growing pains, right? So what are the
gotta have some growing
challenges?
pain.
What are the challenges that you've overcome during your career, the 50 years, that have taught you some valuable lessons?
Well, I would say if you concentrate on who you are and what you're trying to do, and don't pay any attention uh, what someone else might think you ought to be doing, or what you ought to sound like, or what you even ought to look like. If you just if you convince yourself that you got something to say. You got a purpose, and if you believe that you're supposed to be a musician, then you just stand strong on that, or whatever else you believe that you're supposed to do or be while you're walking on this earth. Then you got a part to play. You need to play it, and you can't play it if you're trying to please everybody, and don't make them upset with you, and try to look like them and sound like them. And you might mess around here and don't send the message that you're supposed to send out while you was here.
Wow. Now that's interesting you said that, because times have changed. The industry has changed. And what was good back in the 60s and 70s, the 80s and 90s and 2000s is totally different now. The lyrics are different. The sound is different that you're talking about. The mood is different. And the mindset is different. So it does take a person to be strong and confident about who they are, because you might not fit in. You might not fit in. So you still have to know who you are.
Exactly.
And that,
That you mess around, spend your whole life trying to fit in a square thing when you really a circle. You know.
so what changes have you seen in the industry that you think have made it better for musicians, or even worse?
But it seems now people put out a lot of singers songs instead of a whole album. So maybe that makes it better. I'm still struggling with that because I got a lot of music, and I don't want to wait many years before I release them. I like to leave here empty if I could.
Mm,
You know, um,
wow.
but that probably makes it easy because the person don't have to spend a lot of money and time in the studios now. They just go ahead and do a singer and release that. So that's probably one good thing, at least among probably others. Just gonna get your singer out there, and while that was giving you some play, then you work on the other ones. But before, you want to get a whole 10, 8, 10, 15 songs CD out here, and maybe nobody listen to but one or two of them.
Yeah, so automation, the internet, all these
Mm-hmm.
apps and stuff. How do you think that's affected the industry?
Well, it's a now, here and now. So the faster you can put something out there, it goes across the whole world. I'm pretty sure you can't beat that right now.
Right,
You
because you
know,
got the YouTube channel now, and you got people watching you that may not have never known about you, because they can go to your YouTube and see you from around the world.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. We're definitely in a internet world, and this AI coming along, we see even more
Woo!
so.
Are you
Even
using
more
AI
so.
for your music or anything, or productions?
No, I haven't, but I'm not afraid to. I want to run
Okay.
across some. I want to run across somebody that does it well, because I got an idea for a song that I've written that I would like to just write it and see what it produces.
I
Because
might know somebody that I could turn you on to if you're looking for somebody to help
well,
you with that. I
I
have
I do. hmm I
I
got
have
a
somebody.
song.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got somebody. They
Uh-huh.
can turn it into a cartoon for you if you want. Or I mean, they're really
Uh-huh.
good. They do all those things. So that's good. You're not afraid, because a lot of times baby boomers, because we're around the same
hmm
age. 'Cause you were at St.
Right.
Aug when I was at St. Aug. A
Yeah,
lot
we
of times
baby boomers.
they're set in their ways and they don't want to try new things. So that's
Hmm.
good that you still innovative and you will try new things.
Oh, I try new things every time I play. I'll tell a band we may practice on. If I have a gig, we may practice on several songs, and some of the guys in the band been known to get a little upset with me because I get to the gig, I might not do hardly any of those songs.
Oh wow.
I said, look, give me a C minor 9 at this tempo, ready to hit. That means everybody hit and play, and you listen to each other from that point on, and you hang on to what when you say something, you need to mean it on your instrument. So, like I say, don't be afraid.
Oh wow! So you do something impromptu in a minute, huh?
You better know it. I'll do
Wow,
that fast.
interesting.
I'll do that fast. I'll do that fast, and I'll do a cover.
Really? And but you said you don't like jam sessions.
I said there was a time that I used to go to jam session all the time when I lived in D.C. Used to go to them three,
Okay,
4 times a week.
got you.
I stopped going to jam session when I kind of realized that I couldn't seem to play like them or sound like them. I'm just speaking the truth. You know, like I said, well, I don't never see Fred at these jam sessions. You know, well, one thing, if you're doing a Wednesday night jam session, I'm on the corner playing my horn anyway. You
Got
know,
you. Got
I
you.
gotta get, I gotta get, I gotta get. But I really didn't think was sounding like them. But when I started doing some recording and I bring in just a drummer sometimes, just bring the drummer in, and just me and him play, which would
Mm,
be similar to just me on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Just him and I, and then I can play this kind of stuff I would play on the street, and then I bring a keyboard player in later and add to that, and a bass player, and I'm listening to it. I said, wait a minute, hold it. Do y'all think that's jazz? Because it kind of sound like it might be jazz. And yeah, man, that's jazz. That's okay. Well, I'm
wow.
working to develop that sound now. My teacher at Central, Will Moon, taught me that every note, every chord, every note is connected to each other somehow. So I learned to ride off a note and trust in that note, and the next note comes, knowing that it is related somehow. If I keep working with it, I convince myself. If I convince myself that it's working, it's probably working, because I'm probably about the worst critic.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
we usually are, right? So
mm,
do you write most of your music too that you play, or you do some cover tunes?
um, when I'm on the streets, I do both. You don't have to get people what they're familiar with too.
Yes, yes,
Some
yes,
of it
that's true.
anyway. But don't spend your lifetime trying to sound like somebody else or learning every note or song that somebody else don't wrote. I mean, aren't you an individual?
That's
I
right. You
mean,
got to
take
have some individuality even in your
yeah.
craft. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm,
Or else maybe you don't need to be doing it. If you can't find a place where you just want to create, then that might
yeah.
not be the talent that you might want to, you know,
Hmm.
expound on. So let me ask you something. Walk us through your creative process when you're preparing for a performance. How does that look for you? You're getting ready for a show. How does that look for you?
The main thing is making sure that my horn is tight. Making sure I'm up on my instrument. If I'm up on my horn and I'm tight, I don't be too concerned about what the show going to be like. Of course, I know some cover songs, and I go couple cover songs, make sure I got them intact. But mostly, I want to make sure my horn is. I'm in tune with my instrument. The only way I'm gonna stay in tune with my instrument is that I stay practicing every day. Donna Bird used to tell me when I was at Central, no matter what I went up to Donna Bird and say, "Mr. Bird, how you do?" He said, "Practice." I go work on that, and I come back. Now, how you do? He said, "Practice." So my thing is to stay in tune with my instrument, so I don't be have the jitters about a performance. No, you got 4 or 5 covers, but the main thing, if I'm in tune with my instrument, with myself, then I know I can call out a chord or a key to the musicians I'm with, and I can do a show just like that.
Wow.
If I'm in tune with it, I just call out that, and we'll just go. We'll just go. And as long as they're in tune with themselves too, it's like magic. It works out. We did a gig at the Angus Barn in Raleigh at the Pavilion at the Angus Barn last week, and the first set was pretty much nothing but hits. When I call them hits, is when I tell them guys, give me a certain, I give them a chord and a tempo. And I recorded that. I recorded that live sound, and I'm in the studio now, making sure it's clean because I think I'm going to release that because it's nothing but hits and ideals. But many songs or albums that I have done has come from just an ideal and just ride on it.
You gotta let me know when you're gonna be somewhere so I can come see you with a band too. So let the people know how they can follow you and what you have coming up. Do you have any shows coming up?
Well, I work with Reverend Barber of the Repairs of the Breach. I mean, you may have heard of Reverend Barber. He's um, one of people like Martin Luther King, I would say,
Oh
and
yeah,
Al Sharpton.
advocate,
But this is
community
Reverend Barber.
advocate. Hmm.
Yes, of Repairs of the Breach. So we'll be going up to D.C. on Monday.
Oh nice.
Yeah, we're doing things that help motivate people to get out to vote. Because the time we're in right now, we need to vote. We need to vote. I do believe in that. I believe people died trying to get to a voting poll.
Yes,
And
yes.
if you don't even bother to do it, then they definitely died in vain.
So
So,
so how can the people follow you on social media?
well, I do have a FreddyGreene.com, but I admit I do not keep it up and telling folks where I'm at. But you can reach me through my email, which is fgreensax, green with the E, at yahoo.com, and reach out to me.
Say that one more time.
F Green and green with the E, F Green Sax, SAX, at
Okay.
yahoo.com.
And are you available for bookings if anybody wants to reach you for bookings like weddings or anything, or for a restaurant if they want to have a individual or duo or trio? Are you available?
I am. I'm very picky about the individual thing. People see me play on the street, they see me playing there, they say, "Oh, come and do my party." All I need is just you to come and do my party. Now, they got a party with 200 people, and I'm supposed to sit on the stool and entertain 200 people with a saxophone. Now, that might work, but I don't think that's. But yeah, I'm available to play, but I'm very, very particular about that solo stuff. If you
So
want to sit,
let's talk about that for a minute. So
uh-huh.
people need to understand there's a place for solos and there's
Yes,
a place for duets and there's a place for bands. So if they come to you, you will kind of ask them questions to find out what the event is and kind of help them out a little bit, huh?
well, I have to help them out because, you know, I don't think they really know sometimes.
He said, "You're not gonna set me up." But that's
You're
funny.
not gonna set me up. Uh,
I
no,
get it though.
so
Sometimes people don't know.
been there, done that.
So sometimes it's appropriate for like before the event, like when people are coming in and they want to have you out in the lobby playing or something while people are
Uh,
entering and stuff like that. You know,
uh,
but not the event itself. So yeah, people have to understand. Event coordinators and event planners will understand that, but sometimes everybody who throws a party is not an event planner, so they don't understand.
right. Yeah, I
That's
got a
good.
thing. Yeah. Yeah, that works sometimes when people are coming in, just one person right there doing
Yeah,
something.
just to kind of have some
One
music
or two
playing.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a party, bunch of folks, and you want me to stand with my saxophone and make everybody happy. I'm not happy, so I'm gonna make y'all happy.
Wow,
I'm
that's
like,
funny.
what the world you know? What the world?
That's
So
funny. That's
I learned to ask questions.
What is your proudest moment in your career?
In my career.
Your music career as a saxophonist?
It's probably when I released my first CD in '98 called "Heaven My Mind." That I actually wrote and released a CD because I didn't. Music did not come easy for me. Like I said, I was 17 years old before I even saw a saxophone. I went off to St. Augustine College to learn to play music. I struggled. I mean, I was in my early teens learning how to play a bass guitar. That's true, right? I did start kind of early, about 11, 12 years old, kicking around with bass guitar. But the whole idea, learning how to actually play. I'm not talking about hear something on the radio and pick it out over your instrument and you play. I'm talking about learning how to improv, how to actually follow a note to the next note smoothly and make sense of it. So for me to actually get to a point that I was able to write songs and play a couple of instruments in the process on it. Uh, in '98, I did a CD called "Heavy on My Mind," and that was probably one of the biggest music accomplishments was for me to achieve that. Because like I said, it was not. I had to struggle for music. I had to pray. I asked God many years ago if He would allow me to make people happy through music. But when I did that, I didn't know what I was really asking for because it took me to places where I was staying in a boarded up building, and all I done was practice in that building. It was snow on this side and rain over there, and I had this one room I would practice in. I got to the point I would practice 8 and 10 hours a day. But I asked God to allow me to make people happy through music. I didn't know that I had to go through that I ended up having to go through a lot to do that. But that's so when I got that first piece done, I think they gave me this, they encouraged me to keep on doing it.
Wow. What if you had to stop today? What do you want people to say about Freddie Greene, the street genie?
He did it his way.
He did it his way.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful thing when you do it your way. And I know that you've had opportunity to go places and do things. Any people that you would like to give your sincere thanks to that have just really helped you along the way? I always like to give my guests the opportunity to say thank you to anybody that you may want to say thank you to. I like to give you the opportunity to do that, as well as if there's a question that I didn't ask you, but anything you want the people to know about you and why you do what you do. I'll let you take the moment to tell them that.
Well,
And why did you book
well,
Freddie Greene?
hmm the last thing you said, what was that?
And why should they book Freddie Greene, the street genie?
Well, I'm giving all I got. That's for sure. Like I said, I try not to take no notes home with me. Uh, but hands down, my mother, she's gone now, but I have to thank her every time I put horn in my mouth because she told me don't hold back. And the story that she told me about a little boy who got in trouble with a man on the horn on the street corner, I think that probably done something to me in my psyche that made me. I go do a gig somewhere and make some money doing a gig. I still may come on that corner and play for the night somewhere. But my teacher, Will Moon, him and his brother Ed passed recently. My teacher, Will Moon, he also let me know it's good. Because some people say, I saw Fred when I was at school. He said to me one time when I was having a lesson. Some people said, I saw Freddie Greene out there on the street corner playing the horn. And he told me how he got him scraped real good. He said many people have done that, played the horns on the guitar on the street corner. So he was a great influence, and of course, his brother Elwood, who was passed also. Um, but that's been some people that I had a chance to perform with. They always gave me something like chances time I had a chance to perform with Percy Slade, in conversations that we've had, and Short of Caesar. But it's just some everyday folks that I grew up with that I can thank because they would tell me they remember when they used to see me walking down the street playing a flute on my way to the store, walking, playing my horn on the way to the store. And, so they see me now, we can talk about that. I stepped to it. But I kept to it because of them, because of the positive things that they might have said to me, you know. So I probably can go with many names, but I believe in it. I believe in a higher power. So I give thanks to that higher power most of all.
Yes, definitely so. Definitely so.
Mhm.
And I know that you mentioned
Oh, let me say
people.
this person. Say the
Okay.
person. The Bishop William Barber has working with him for these years have shown me how to appreciate myself
Okay.
uh, by calling me to come play for his events, his organization. He's a very powerful speaker, and he's a great motivator. Uh, you know, just kind of let you know that you got great wealth in yourself, and he don't mind using me to express that to move people in his organization to where he needs for him to go.
And that's good because it's always good when you get validation and appreciated by somebody.
Mm.
And it always takes somebody away from home. It's never going to come from home.
I
Somebody
believe you got a point
outside
there.
of the city. It says that in the good book, It's
Hmm.
always going to be some other people that appreciate you more than those close to you. So I know you can appreciate that. I wanted to give you the opportunity before we come to an end, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate your time and you being here with
Well,
me.
thank you. Thank
Uh,
you.
I want I wanted you to speak to the people about street musicians. Anything you want to tell the people the next time they go past a street musician? Is there a message to the people like, are the people reacting the way you want them to react, or do you want people to be more aware or more friendly, or do you want them to pay more attention? Is there any message for people about how they need to respond to people who are playing music on the streets?
Uh, I might have said something earlier that people kind of treat you differently on the street and then you in the club.
Yeah,
You're
because
the
you said
same
they go
person.
home.
Yeah, you're the same person on the street, but you might get more respect in the club. But uh, that person on the street is playing you the same music. Matter of fact, he's probably playing it to you even stronger because it's him. Probably most time be just one person. But when it comes to maybe giving that person a tip, not just the street musician, but the person that you might think might be homeless, chances are that dollar ain't gonna make a whole lot of difference to you if you give it to that homeless person or that street musician. Uh, Chances are that dollar, quarter, whatever, may not, probably won't make or break you, but it might make a difference with that person out there, a big difference. Not only could they go and maybe get something they may need, but it's showing them, if it's a musician, that you hear them. You don't just see them, but you also hear them. Everybody wants to be heard.
So what you're saying is say hello. I mean, even if you don't have a dollar, I mean, would you say that? Would you say something like, don't just walk past? I mean, but you said music, street musicians. How can I say that? Street musicians are not out there necessarily to be seen and heard. They're out there to make a difference. Would that be valid, or do you think some are out there to be seen and heard and discovered?
Well, it's probably all of that, but you definitely want to make a difference when you're out there. I mean, I that's how I always felt about it because, like I said, I never wanted to scream out, "Hey, come here where I'm at." I wanted to kind of blend into the atmosphere, and everything in the atmosphere makes a difference. So you want to make a difference, a positive difference that is as well. You know, you want to bring something that's going to help somebody move along in their day. Because sometimes people say, "Where you been? I haven't seen you in a couple of days." Well, that makes me feel pretty good. You know,
But we
That's,
appreciate everything that you do. We appreciate you wanting to leave it all out there and not take it back home. I've seen when you said that it's on the street where you feel like you're actually living and you're not boxing at all. That you just love the encounters and you love helping people to just take it all in. And we appreciate that because I do believe it's ministry, it's therapeutic, and it makes a difference. You're making people's day. Sometimes, like I said, I've stopped, so I know how it can be. So I thank you for your contribution. I thank you for your heart and your passion and your dedication to the craft and the way that you take time to continue to perfect it. I appreciate that. I want to make sure that, ladies and gentlemen, to go out there and to make sure you support them. Make sure you support them. And you play not just the saxophone, but the horn too. Is it the clarinet or something else you play as well?
no, that's a soprano saxophone. You're speaking of the straight one.
Uh-huh.
That's a saxophone. That's a soprano
That's a
saxophone.
saxophone. That's a saxophone too. So all of those are
Mhm.
considered saxophone.
Yes,
That's why I think I said my dad played that. So that is a saxophone. It's
that's
just a different kind.
right. The saxophone is just like the choir. You got that. You got a bass, baritone, alto, soprano, tenor. You got those
Oh,
voices.
okay. So these right when you have the long one like that, that's just a different one, but it's still a saxophone.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's a soprano. Got a very high pitch, just like the singer in the
Okay.
choir.
Okay.
Mhm.
Saxophones. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Freddie Greene, the music genie. Please go follow him. Check out his YouTube channel. Freddie, I want to give you an opportunity to give any final thoughts to the people. Any final thoughts to the people. Speak to the person who wants to go out there and pursue their dream as a musician, but they just never got the opportunity, or maybe they got discouraged, or anything you want to say, any message that you want to say to the people, whatever's on your heart, I'll give you the opportunity to do that and just let them know.
Hmm. Well, I think I said before, if you want to play an instrument, you need to go ahead on and do it, and don't be comparing yourself to no one else. Um, if you're 50, I have some people say I'm 50 years old now. I said, well, what are you waiting till you're 100? Is that what you're waiting for? You know, just go ahead on and go to a pawn shop. You don't have to spend a lot of money on an instrument to start off. Go to a pawn shop, find you a guitar in there for a couple bucks, maybe $100, or a saxophone, or a flute, or a clarinet. They're all in pawn shops. And you got to invest a lot of money from the jump street. Just invest in you.
That's it. You heard it from
Mhm.
Freddie Greene, ladies and gentlemen. Invest in yourself. Freddie, I thank you so much for being here. It has
Thank
been
you.
my pleasure to have you here, fellow Falcon. I
Mhm.
appreciate you, and I definitely want you to let me know when you're going to be somewhere else,
Thank
so I
you.
can
Thank you. Thank
see
you.
you live outside of seeing you on the street because I passed you several times on the street. But I
Mhm.
definitely want to do that so we can get that in. Ladies and gentlemen, Freddie Greene,
Thank you.
Freddie Greene, Freddie Greene, the Street Genie. Go follow him on YouTube and all platforms. Go to FreddieGreene.com, FreddieGreene.com. That's what it is. It's FreddieGreene.com and check out
Mm-hmm.
his pictures.
Hmm. I'm sorry.
He got
You're right.
You got some pictures out there. He has some videos out there. Go and follow and check him out on Apple Music. Apple Music. Check out his music, his latest releases on Apple Music. He's got plenty of songs out there, so go do that and support the independent artists. Support the independent artists. He has singles. He has EPs. So check him out. You've been watching Storytime. You're here. I am Krista Buddy Smith. I'll be back on Sunday at 9 p.m. And we have another good one. As a matter of fact, we have some ladies that have gone through domestic violence and they have a strong message. That's going to be a powerful segment this Sunday at 9 p.m. We've got some good ones coming up. You can go back and you can scroll through and look at the different episodes and make sure you hit the subscribe button on both our channels, okay? I'm the girl, Krista Buddy Smith. I want to say keep hope alive. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. Thank you for watching, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Remember, your story matters. You matter. And we'll see you on the next story time. Freddie, much love to you. Thank you so much for your time.
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey!